One,
This
two,
is
four.
podcast 124. This is a very, very, very special edition because it'll be one and done and never discussed ever again.
Possibly.
Well, possibly. But we're going to do a fishing episode and we're going to talk about favorite lures, my most recent fishing experience, the trip that I have planned with Chris that you see on the other side of this camera that's always late. He's never on time and so forth. So I'm pretty excited
Lame.
about it because I've recently regained my love for fishing over the past few years, and I'm excited to talk about it.
Only because he watches me fish.
No, you cannot fish. All you do is catch little 4-inch trout.
Hey, that's catching.
It is catching,
Catch and release.
catch and release. 4-inch trout, minnows. You throw out lures and you catch minnows.
Whatever. That's
You
bait.
got
Gotta
you got to
have
be
bait.
you got to be like me and throw a topwater popper and catch 2 fish on one lure.
That was a setup. You
That
snagged it.
was that was skill.
Snagged it.
It's a special pop, 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 and you catch 2 fish on one lure.
Okay.
All right. So it's not hunting related, unfortunately. So anybody that we apologize, but I had a recent fishing experience here that I like to get off my chest, and
Yeah.
I'm,
He
I'm I've lost sleep about it.
he he was experiencing dueling banjos
Yeah.
in the
So
hills of West Virginia.
yep. I'm not gonna say where I was fishing because it's kind of a hot spot, and I'm not gonna give it away. But
Oh, come on.
what I will say is I was fishing on the Potomac River. I'm not going to say what part though.
In the
So
water.
in the water on the Potomac River.
Water, not water.
Water.
There you go.
Um, Usually on my trip, I go by myself, and I have to carry my canoe down a hill down to the Potomac River. I'll leave it sit there. I usually take like a cable strap it to a tree, and then I drive 7 miles downstream, and I park at a train station and leave my truck there, and I get an Uber ride back to my canoe. That's my normal trip. Now, I've done that. I used to do it when I was 14 years old. Um, I stopped fishing for many years, but I recently got back into it 3, 4 years ago. Bought a canoe, got into, started doing this trip, and I catch pretty good bass. Minimal 20 fish a day. If you do the trip by yourself, usually 20 fish, 20 bass, smallmouth. Um, but there's another section to this river that I wanted to canoe even further. It'd been like I think it was like 16 miles total, but it would have to be an overnight trip. So I planned it, and we went down there, me and Brad, and the first day we got down there, my dad actually dropped us off, and we got on the water. It was like 6:15. We started catching bass, pretty good ones, about 3 pounders, couple 3 pounders first thing in the morning,
Oh, come on.
three a 3 3, and then the rest of the day was pretty much like 1.5, like 1.5 pounders.
Mm-hmm.
So
Quarter pounder with cheese.
yeah, quarter pounder with cheese. So and we were catching them on jerk baits. Now, like the past 2 years, I didn't have any luck with jerk baits down there. It was all topwater poppers, and then the topwater popper became my favorite lure. Yeah, literally pop it out. I mean, I was catching bass left and right, but for whatever reason, this year they're hitting on jerk baits, and different. I use different colors, kind of like the broken back, the split one, the one that like
Jointed.
jointed. There you go. And that one works the best that I found this
I thought
past
you was
couple
going to talk
times.
about Brokeback Mountain, though. Jeez.
No, no. Um, I've tried drop shotting. I've tried just regular jigs and worms. Caught a couple on drop shots. Uh, no luck on poppers, but I did catch one on. I caught one bass on a chatter bait, chatter lure. Um, Other than that, it's been jerk baits. So anyway, we had the canoe fully loaded. I had this big giant waterproof bag. We had all our stuff in there, clothes, tents, sleeping bags, pads, pillow, everything you can think of. So we got to the area where we were camping, which was midway point roughly, and it was a campground. So I booked this campground probably 2 months ago to camp at, and it's it says it's a family campground. Well, personally, I've never stayed at a campground before. Like, I go camping out in Western Maryland, and it'll just be in a state forest, and I'll just camp anywhere. This was an actual family campground. They had RVs there. Uh, you could do tent camping, and there was different sections. They had a section for RVs, one section was kind of like a more of a like a public tent tent area you could set up, and then I chose this other area, which was supposed to be the more private area
The
of
nudist side, right?
yeah, yeah, because I wanted to get away from people because I don't like people. So, um, I wanted to get away from all. I figured, all right, yeah, if we pick this spot, we can get away from all the noise, all the BS, all the crap. Get away from all the noise. I didn't know what to expect. I'd never been there. So anyway, we get there. We pull up to they had a boat ramp, literally right off the Potomac River. We pull up, pull the canoe up on the dirt there. As soon as I get out of the canoe, all I smell was freaking weed
Nice.
everywhere. There was people
You was hot.
there. Yeah, I was. There was people everywhere, drinking, partying, weed, and I was like, I told
Sweet.
Brad, I told Brad, I said, man, this ain't for me. I'm not a people person. I'm not a partier. I'm upset. So he was laughing. He's getting on me and
Eh,
everything. So anyway, we check in, and she showed us the area we were camping in, and the more private area they had like designations. Like it was like 1 to 15,
mm,
and I think we were 15. So we go over there, had to walk down this long road, get to the campsite. And when we go over there, I'm looked at Brad. I said, Brad, I thought this was supposed to be private, right? There was tents all over the place, right?
oh,
So we get sent up, get the tents up, and they had a bathhouse. I go in the bathhouse, take a shower, come back, start making dinner, cook burgers on the grill, and um, we're sitting there making dinner and everything. Well, the people, I guess, be to the left of us. I think it was campground 12 or something. Um, all of a sudden, I smell weed again, right? And I look over, they're over there just puffed at. I mean, they're smoking like crazy, right?
yeah. Cheech and Chong.
Yep, and everybody's holding a solo cup, sitting there drinking, hollering, and it's starting to get like 8 p.m. Right? I said, Brad, this is not going to go well. I'm going to flip out on somebody. So, because I wanted to sleep, I like my sleep. So I don't know. It was like 9 o'clock. I said, Brad, I'm done, man. I'm burnt out. Going to the tent, going to sleep. So he goes in his tent, I go in my tent, and it was just hooting and hollering, noise,
Yeah.
partying. Next thing you know, I
Woo.
hear this lady start screaming, right? So here I am in my skivvies. I lean up and I open the window up to the tent. I
Stick
look
the
over to
G lock out.
yeah, she's over there yelling and kicking rocks. And she's just drunk. Nothing ever good happens with it, So she's over there hollering, screaming. She's like, "I'm tired of you lying to me." Blah 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 blah. I mean, she's just flipping out, man, kicking rocks, right? So finally, I fell asleep around 10 o'clock. Well, I woke up at 12. Like I got 2 solid hours of sleep. I woke up at 12. There's music blaring, people hollering, screaming, partying. I'm like, this is crazy, right? So then I realized, which I should have realized, but in between the Potomac River, you have the campground. Then on the other side of that is the train tracks. Dude, when I say trains, I'm talking trains. There was a train that went by every half hour blowing the horn
Oh my.
all night long. All
Oh
night long.
geez.
And I was up since 12 a.m. People were partying. Finally, at 3 a.m., it went silent.
Hmm.
But at that point, I couldn't go back to sleep. I was wide awake. I get out of my tent at 3. I went back to the bathhouse. I took a shower again. I came back. I started heating up coffee. I'm throwing sticks, and stuff at Brad's tent because he's over there snoring away. I mean, he was snoring. So finally, he wakes up and he gets out. He's like, "Dude, did you hear all that partying last night?" I'm like, "Yeah, I heard the partying. Like, I got 2 hours of sleep. I couldn't sleep anymore." He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Do you hear that lady kicking rocks and stuff?" I'm like, "Yeah, I heard her kicking rocks." So,
Getting a phone call.
not to mention, I bought this air mattress to sleep on.
Right.
I pumped the thing up, and I couldn't get comfortable in that thing. My low back was killing me. I couldn't sleep because of that, and then the people yelling. And then the next day, uh, we got back on the water and went like 7 or 8 miles or something further downstream. And the
Hmm.
second day, we literally caught 3 fish.
Oh my.
So that stretch of the Potomac, I mean, with what we were using, our methods, I guess, we caught 3 fish. So the upper part where my trip usually goes,
That was
that's
the
where
hot spot.
that's the hot spot. That there's more rocks, there's more ground, you
Yeah.
know, under structure and stuff. That part of it was more flat. There was no rapids, there's no rocks. It was just kind of wide open.
Hmm.
Um, so that was my experience at the campground.
Mm,
I
not
wouldn't
good.
call it I wouldn't call it a family campground. It was more of like a partying campground,
Party.
which, people can do what they want. It's a public place, but I just assume that, at 10 p.m. would be a standard noise thing where, yeah, you can do what you want, but you
Right.
gotta, you know, people, you got no respect for nobody. So they just decided to party all night. I mean, it was everybody. I mean, partying and making noise all freaking night long.
Now, weed is legal in Maryland, right?
Uh,
You can possess just so much.
I think so, yeah. I
Yeah.
don't pay attention to it because it annoys me. Um,
Yeah.
so I mean, everywhere you go, you smell it. I
Yeah.
mean, no matter if
It wasn't like they was doing anything illegal. They was just up late.
I don't know, I don't know. I mean, no matter where you go, I mean, I smell it. And when I travel, consult, I go in PA, all you do is smell freaking weed. And I go in Maryland, whether you're in the city or country, you just smell weed. It's just to me, it's annoying. I hate it. Don't want to be around it. Um, but that's just my opinion. Uh, that's my fishing experience
Oh boy.
this past weekend.
So, how does one get an Uber to take you back to your truck?
You never used Uber before?
No.
This guy's so out of touch with technology. I'm gonna kill you.
You live
So
in the city.
you got Ubers where you're at?
You live in the city.
I don't live in the city, son.
Country boy can't survive here,
No,
man. I'm telling you.
I live 2 minutes from horse farms and
Oh,
uh,
you just
cornfields.
Baltimore City.
I live 40 minutes north of
City
Baltimore
slicker.
City.
He's a city slicker. He gets
No,
Ubers.
I got more cornfields here than you do.
He gets Ubers.
When I need one,
What the heck's an Uber? It's like a
you don't know what
taxi.
a you don't know what an Uber is?
It's a
And
jitney driver.
you get on an app called the Uber app, and you
Okay.
schedule a ride.
Huh.
You put it in there, you put your address in there, and somebody comes, picks you up,
Oh
and takes
my.
you wherever you need to go.
Serial killer.
Elon Musk, man. Elon Musk created Uber.
Really?
Yeah, years ago, and then he sold it.
Man, I'm out of touch.
You are out of touch. But yeah, I pre-schedule a ride. So
Huh.
I put in the train station where I get picked up at. I'll say pick me up at 5:45 in the morning, and then I put my destination back where my canoe is, and 5:45 there's a guy waiting there to pick you up. You hop in the back
Wow.
seat, and he drives you to wherever you need to go.
Not bad.
Yeah, it's like 10, it cost me like $10,
Huh.
$12, whatever it is.
There's a guy at work. He was uh getting rides. I guess it was probably Uber too. I would assume he was
Probably.
getting rides from work at the Punxsutawney.
Mhm.
where his girlfriend lived,
Yeah.
because he had a DUI and needed to do some paperwork and stuff before he can get driving again. Now he's driving, but
Mhm.
the first
Well,
couple.
I know guys that do Uber on the side as a side business, and they'll make like an extra 40, $50,000 a year just driving Uber
Hmm,
because you get into the busy, you know, hours of people, and they'll hang out because when you request an Uber, it's basically wherever that driver is, whoever that driver is closest to somebody, he'll get the first like notification, like, hey, this person's looking for a ride. So busy times of the night or whatever, baseball games and things, people need rides because they're drinking, they don't want to drive and stuff. The
yeah,
Uber drivers will just sit there by the stadiums or bars at night or whatever, and they'll sit there and get rides all night long.
you can just flag them down.
Yeah. No, no, no. You get the a notification on your phone.
You have to do it through the app.
Yeah. Yeah, because safety thing or whatever, you gotta do it through
Can't
the app.
just dive in someone's back seat and say, "Take me here."
No.
Huh.
So, but yeah,
Okay.
that's Uber. But
Crazy.
um we caught a catfish on the second day, and then most of the bass here, they're smallmouth, but they're red eye.
Yeah.
You got them there, PA?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Um,
I went down to my daughter's house last week there and was catching those
mm,
there by the dam.
mhm.
I caught two above the dam and one below the dam. And of course, my go-to is a Rapala.
We know.
Rapalas are that's my favorite. I love them.
Yep.
And I pull when I I had my rod set up, obviously from last year, the one rod that I took down there, and it had a spinner on it, a rooster tail. So I threw it a few times and nothing hit it. So reached in my vest, grabbed my little tackle box, went in for my favorite black and silver, and the lip was broken off of my Rapala.
Mhm.
I don't remember doing that last year. And if I did, why did I stick it back in the box? So
Old
I don't
age.
know. I don't know what happened. So it's missing a lip, so it's no good. So before you get up here, I got to go buy my secret weapon.
Secret weapon.
The secret weapon, the black and silver Rapala. So I had to use a blue and white one.
No luck.
No, they like I said, I caught three. So,
Mm.
but
The color that was working for me on the jerk baits was like the silverish, bluish ones.
mm,
That one and like a light brownish one
mm.
was the ones that they seem to be hitting on. Usually I have luck with like white ones or like yellow or something like that, but they
See,
weren't hitting them.
I'm 100% Rapala up here. Now, when I
Mhm.
lived in Pittsburgh and I fished the Allegheny, I used Rapala down there too, but I was a big jig fisherman down there.
Mhm.
I would get 16th and 8th ounce jigs
Mhm.
and tip them. Well, of course, I'd have a Mr. Twister tail on it,
Mhm.
the curly tail. But they were real short little things. Sometimes I buy the fuzzy grub, the white
Mhm.
ones. I like the white ones. And there, right up the road where I fished was a bait and tackle shop, and they sold fathead minnows. So if I would tip one of those jigs with a fathead and throw it out there, man, all the time fishing. I mean, it was just crazy down there. It used to be so good fishing down there. And now when I go home to see mom and dad, sometimes I'll go down and stop at the river and take the rod along. And I'll throw the waders on real quick and I'll wade out and I'll fish for a couple minutes and there's nothing. It's like the
Mhm.
Dead Sea now. Like they totally messed it up down there. Like now they keep the water real low. You can walk halfway across the river, you know. Um, it was around the Harmerville exit of 28, and it's where the mouth of Deer Creek dumped into Allegheny River. And there's a big retaining wall there on the one side of the creek, so you have a definite straight drop off there, uh, and you park in the parking lot. And you walk down through the weeds, and you get down to the creek bed. And I would usually stand at the mouth there and pitch up against the wall and just let it hit the wall and just slide down, and then just start hopping it from there. Just little tiny wrist flick and slam. Back then they had a big uh, stocking program with the white bass. It's the hybrid of the striper,
Mhm.
and those things were super mega strong. Like, it was like a 10-inch white bass would fight like a 3-pound smallie. Just those things were just ferocious, and they
Mhm.
hit they hit so hard. It was just so much fun. They used to just really keep up with the program back then, and now, like I said, I've been out of Pittsburgh for 22 years and 23 years now. And like I said, when I go back, they keep the water levels, the dam, they must open it up, and they let the water down so low that, like, I never seen the, I don't know what you would call it, the bottom of the river. I guess you just that's the easiest way to explain it. Like, they drained the water so much now that I could see, like, where I used to fish, you know? And, like, I never understood why I always caught the fish where I did, because you can't see the bottom necessarily, but I knew the areas where I caught the most, and that's where I would go. Well, now you go down there and the water's drained down past that, totally below that, and there's like brush and grass and stuff growing up out of the river, where I used to actually fish, and it's just weird. So now all there is there's a deep channel, and down there there's sections in the river. There's an island in the river, and there's like 99-year leases. There's camps and stuff over on the island. So you literally could walk across the river in your waders just to the edge of that deep ravine, because they got to have a spot there for the boats and tugboats and stuff to go up through there, because they still was, yeah, up till, I don't know now, because they tore down the one electric plant down there, Duquesne Light, I believe it was. I think they quit using it, so they was hauling coal in barges and stuff. Sometimes they train it up there, or because there's train tracks there also. But anyhow, there's that deep ditch there, and you can get right to it, and you'd pitch out in there. But it's I'm telling you, it's the Dead Sea now. It's horrible. They totally destroyed that area, and it just sucks for fishing now. Like, I
Mhm.
go down there, I never see anybody there fishing. You know, Now it's all recreational boating. Everybody's into buying a boat or a ski-doo or something, ripping around, and yeah, they screwed it up real bad. But
So
yeah, I would
this
the jigging in the Rapalas is my thing.
so I've used the jigs down there where I'm talking about, but unless you rig it um Texas style, Texas
Mm,
rig,
mhm.
you get hung up because the whole
Oh,
it's four rocks, and if you throw it
yeah.
out, I mean you're almost every cast you're hung up.
Okay.
So I was rigging them Texas style, and it helps, but occasionally you'll still get hung up. I started
Yeah.
doing the drop shot um this year, and it seems it works a little bit better, but you still get hung up just because the water is
Yeah.
so fast flowing some areas, but it's just four rocks.
Right.
So it
I mean,
seems
I
like
lost a ton of jigs down there over the
mhm,
years, even lures, because
mhm,
there's so much garbage in the water.
mhm,
You know,
mm,
um, there's an overpass right there too, and people were always throwing junk off the overpass, or just the floodwaters. They would when they would open up the lock, and all that water would flow down, and it would push down. Like in the wintertime, you get all these dead trees, and I mean, there's times I was out there fishing and a dead deer would be floating down the river.
Mhm.
Just dumb stuff, tires and
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. Well, you said with people not fishing really there or whatever anymore, like this run that I used to do, this 6 mile run between bridge and the train station when I was 14, 15, 16, I did the same trip and you would see nothing but canoes. I
Mm,
mean, there'd be people doing the same thing. I
yeah,
mean, tons of people. The past 4 years that I've got back into this and I've been doing this same trip, I've seen a total of 2 canoes.
yeah. See, like the the boat launch was below me a couple hundred yards, and they used to put in, and they would motor right up to me and anchor. Here I am standing in hip waders, you know, and they would anchor out there 50 yards from me. And they're
Mhm.
casting at me and I'm casting at them. It was dumb. But we were
Yeah,
all
that is
catching
dumb.
fish, so nobody said nothing.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Yeah, I don't I me and Brad saw one guy on a boat, an actual gas boat, bass boat. Um, he came up from the opposite way. Um, but canoe wise, I seen total in the 4 years, maybe two.
hmm,
So I don't know why,
I don't
but
know. Maybe in the future, maybe I'll own a boat. I don't know.
I want to buy a little John boat.
I would like to have a boat, a nice, just a little, I don't know, 16-foot boat or something, with a little 9.9 on the back. Just
Hmm.
something I can use here in the Clarion. And because there's a couple boat launches here in some deeper water. And if you go down further, there's walleye and everything down in here, towards Clarion area.
Hmm. Yeah, there's
So,
walleye in the Potomac there. Walleye, largemouth, smallmouth, catfish, and all that. The
mhm,
only thing that I've ever caught there is smallmouth.
yeah.
Never caught a
See,
walleye.
what the one neat thing in Pittsburgh was they had sauger, and sauger is a hybrid of a walleye. There was walleye there too, but you didn't find that many. There was so many sauger, and a sauger, like I said, is a hybrid, and it's like the fish looks camouflage. The pattern on it was so random, and it was like black and like earth tone colors and stuff. It looked like snake skin is what it looked like. It looked like rattlesnake skin. The pattern that was on the fish. They're pretty neat.
Hmm.
Exactly the same as a walleye, though. They just don't seem to get as large.
Hmm. Well, the end of this month, I'm going to Deep Creek Lake, down in Western Maryland.
Mm,
Um, Deep Creek Lake's, I don't know how many acres it is, but um, me and my dad went there when I was a kid, and we caught tons of bass, and that was the last time I've been there. So
mm,
I'm actually going with my mom and dad. Um, we got a cabin, and I'm gonna take my dad out on the canoe and fish the Deep Creek Lake. So hopefully,
nice.
we have some success there. And then the following week we'll be up with you, um,
Yeah,
and so I can outfish you again.
never. Guess what that is?
Hmm.
That's the church picnic day too.
Oh, is it
Yeah, Jet's like, you guys come up and get lunch before you go fishing again. So I don't know.
again? Did we do it last time?
No, no,
Oh,
I meant before we go fishing again. Meaning,
oh,
because I
oh, oh.
told him, I said we'll
Yeah,
probably go out in the morning and then we'll probably take another
yeah,
trip in
yeah,
the
yeah.
evening. And
I
he's like,
got you.
well, make sure you come up and get lunch and hang out with us for a couple hours. I said, we'll see.
Didn't we
Yeah,
go there that one time?
I think we did.
And they had food there that when we
Oh
went.
yeah.
Was that
Oh,
the
that's
same
what
thing?
this is. Yeah, that's what this is going to be, a big cookout.
Okay, it was the
Yeah,
same
there's
thing
going to
then.
be. He's putting a whole pork loin on the grill and
Mm,
some deer burgers and stuff and hot
gotcha.
dogs, hamburgers, and
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah, maybe we
So
should go
maybe,
because I still got to have a talk with him.
yeah, yeah, because he just posted pictures again last week. Him and his grandson went to that same lake and caught fish.
What?
Nice fish. Yeah. Yep. And
Hmm.
I'm like, he's hiding something.
The first place we went to, or the second place?
Nah, I think
The
no, the
first
one up
place.
here on 80 by Du Bois.
So the first place.
Kyle or Keel. I can't remember
Yeah,
which one's which.
yeah.
I think this one's Kyle, maybe. I
Well,
can't remember. But the
he
one
must
on 80
have
on the
he
way to
must
Du
have the
Bois.
secret touch or something.
He said, man, they was out fishing in the middle and everything, and was just using like a drop shot, like worm thing or
Hmm.
something, And he's like, we were
Tearing them up.
killing them. I'm like, I said, me and Dave was all over that place rowing. See, because he went in a John boat with a daggone motor.
Hmm.
I said, Dave and I went up there and rowed. And I said, the only thing we could catch was all around the edges and in that one cove. That one cove, we tore them
Yeah.
up,
Yeah.
but they were just all dinks.
Right.
And then that big storm blew and we didn't do too good after that.
Hmm.
So, well, that's our big fishing cast.
Yeah. First time. So that's my fishing experience, camping experience, and I feel like I should write the campground an email and complain, but I'm not going to
That's
because
funny.
it is
You
what
was
it
high
is.
as a kite. That's why you didn't sleep.
Yeah, I was high
You
as
was
a
gonna
kite from
bark at the
all.
moon.
Yeah, here I wanted this nice peaceful camping with listening to the birds chirp and just hanging out, but no, I had to deal with pot smokers, partying, yelling,
That's funny.
and boom boxes.
Oh my.
It was rough.
Oh well.
Whatever. All
All
right,
right. That was 124.
1, 2, 4 podcast out.